Good morning, all. So, I'm posting this. Hopefully, it helps somebody out with what they're going through. Um, if you if you don't have time to listen to me ramble for quite a bit, please scroll along. Anyway, okay, let's continue. So, if you went through an event a couple of years back, or even recently, with a big group of people and flashing lights, and it's cold, and you do a lot of inner work or shadow work. There's a lot of high-fiving and fun music, and it's an experience. Anyway, if you went through that, then you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I went through 2 of those back to back. I'm very grateful for the experience. I guess the thing that's been hard for me to work through, and I'm sure if you were in my position that you've gone through similar feelings. The people that were supposed to be there for you, or the people that made you feel like something was lacking in you, that you needed to go through this event or learn the things. And I'm not saying that I didn't learn a lot of things, and I'm sure you feel the same way. But those same people that were supposed to offer you guidance and support and community, friendship, acceptance, mentorship, right? These people that were supposed to have already gone through the thing and had the awakening, right? When you were going through your stuff, these people were nowhere around. They weren't there for you. They didn't provide support. In fact, it messed up your entire life, and it was very hard to get work. It was hard to get a job. It was hard to continue to move forward, all of the pain and everything that you were working through. And these people knew. They knew if they'd been through it and they'd already been awakened or had a similar experience as you. They knew exactly what you were going through. And they knew how at risk you were as not only being a vulnerable population, but also probably being in an industry that's at a time in life that many people are also vulnerable. Anyway, I guess my point is that while you did take a lot out of this experience and you're thankful, there was never anything that needed to be fixed to begin with in you. And those people should have supported you, and they should have accepted you just the way you were from day one. And there was no reason for you to struggle in an industry that should have loved you from the beginning, the way that you have. In any industry, right? Sure, you had things you needed to work through. But you were a unique situation, and you also didn't know any of the things that you learned in any of this. So for you to be lied on, and to have your life turned upside down, to have to work through everything all alone, you're a badass, and you always have been. But you also have every right to feel the way you feel. And your feelings are valid, and they are not wrong. You were never wrong. And you knew that, which is one of the reasons why you were so dang frustrated and angry inside for so long. You did the inner work. You'll never get an apology. because these people don't feel sorry for what they did to you. All you did was ask for support. All you did was ask to be treated fairly, to be able to perform. And instead of being there for you, even when knowing, I think that's the part that's the worst. That's the part that gets you the most, is the fact that you didn't know what this process would do to you or how hard it would be on all of your relationships in your life, on everything, on career, on work. You had no idea, but they did. And when you went to them for help, when you went to them directly and you said, listen, this is what I need, to be supported. When these people took you in to begin with, they promised you support. They promised you mentorship. They promised you guidance. They promised you all these things and didn't deliver. When you went to them directly and you said, this is what I need, you got kicked out in a nice and subtle way. You knew exactly what was happening when they did that, but you had to play dumb. You had to pretend like you didn't. And they showed you that you were right. And you haven't said anything about it. Because to you, you know, the things that you say and your actions have consequences. And you don't want to hurt anybody or affect anybody. And so you've stayed strong. You've worked through your stuff on your own. But at the end of the day, I just want you to know that what they did to you was wrong. And you have every right to feel the way you feel. You have every right to take as much time as you've needed to heal. You have every right to be guarded the way that you are. What happened to you? Yes. Eventually, you're going to be happy that you went through it. And you still on some level already are happy that you went through it. But at the end of the day, you were perfectly fine the way that you were. And you still are. You still are perfectly amazing. And you're going to get through this. You're going to be stronger. They don't matter, and they never did. Because if they did matter, they would have done right by you. The way that you would have done right by them. You know, it's funny. When you know better, you're supposed to do better. They knew exactly what they were doing. Even when they said whatever they said about you, and you let them talk. Yeah, you blocked them out of your life, and you would do it again in a heartbeat. Because sometimes you have to protect yourself. I'm tired of staying quiet about how I feel inside, and you should too. Anyway, good luck.